Alright, I'm noodling around just with like A mixolydian, moving between it and then A minor. So I'm kind of focused on the collection of notes here, just on my warm up, just warming up, the fingers. Uh, I don't know. I'm a little tired today, so I'm just gonna go back into this one. I'm almost thinking what I'll do is I was gonna go back into to these comparing these three because I'm kind of into like my just practicing my intervals and whatnot right now. I think so. I want to go to this bottom string, but maybe before I do that, maybe I'll go back up here and I want to compare the second string, like this string to it, and try to see because if I did that, then I can kind of mute the string in the middle or play the open A and see, is it possible for me to kind of reach down here and play or like if I muted this string, it's kind of ugly, and see what would happen as I kind of utilize that open string somehow. I don't know. But if that doesn't work out, then I will go down here and analyze the bottom string and then try to see where the best spots are above it, which I'm also not as good at. I need to cut my nails. And then I'll do it that way. But I'm almost thinking maybe to go up top here and do that first. And then I'll analyze it here as though we're in the collection of notes for that E's a Phrygian. And then I'll move the position 1 back so that it'll be back. So I look at the same thing, but now that E is an Aeolian. And now I move it, and now I move, where's position 1 here is like, this is position 1 now. And what I'm going to do is move this position back, which is the Mixolydian shape, which I would call position number 5. And I'm going to move it back so that this will be there, so that then will be the Mixolydian. Right? All right, and so then we'll analyze the same notes, and I'll compare the intervals so that we can compare them to the different collections of notes and look at three different collections of notes, but they're all kind of the same, so we get an idea of that, and that'll give us some ideas maybe on how to navigate differently and kind of combine together possibly the modes as we go, because all three of those modes only have like one interval difference between them, if we account for the smearing of the third. So then we could play with that. So that's my thought. So I'm going to keep on playing with that. That's what I feel like doing. So I'm going to try a joke first. So I tried to put kind of a serious, I guess my jokes have been kind of serious on the political topics, but I tried to put like a little bit of a more serious, like has like a theological kind of thing in it. So this might not be the most tactful way, but I think that like this kind of joke, this kind of format should be able to handle like serious topics if someone was good at it. So I will attempt it anyways this way. And so if it's not to your taste, then that's fine. We'll go on to the guitar anyways. All right. So I'm still watching the political stuff, the drama here, and so that's kind of what the joke is about to some degree. All right. Let me get my other glasses. So we live in an interesting time where people with massive platforms are constantly reviving ideas that were disproven before indoor plumbing. So right now we've debunked the mainstream media because they went completely crazy and they had sponsored people lying to us. And now of course we've got a bunch of people that are coming up and nobody believes anything. And all you have to say is, look, you can't stop me from saying stuff and no one's trying to stop you from saying stupid stuff, but we still need to say that the things that people are saying are stupid when the things that people are saying are stupid, because that's how the whole system's supposed to work. So it's like, yeah, the classic line these days, again, is this idea that even in like the Christian circles, and this is a line that I've never even, it seems to break the theology of Christianity. So I never thought it was that anybody actually took it kind of like serious. But you see people dancing around it all the time, especially in some of the major influencers right now. And that's the idea that like the Jews killed Jesus, right? And this is from a theological kind of standpoint. And, so that you see them kind of dancing around this idea, which I always assumed was so theologically illiterate, no one took it seriously. Then again, I also thought nobody would treat Disney Star Wars as canon. So, yet somehow, both are now being explained to me with extreme confidence. So I figured I'd try a little satire just to show how that theological collapses the moment you actually follow it to its logical conclusion. So again, I'm talking like theologically here. Like, what's the purpose of the whole kind of narrative? And and so how are you supposed to understand the narrative from its general purpose? So people say something like the Jews killed Jesus, like they just cracked Christianity wide open. I know who did it, and surprise, I'm innocent. Now the moment you say that, like I'm innocent and the other guys are the bad guys, it seems like, again, you've kind of flipped from a theological perspective, it seems like you kind of flip the thing on its head, right? It's like, no, you didn't solve the mystery. You missed the plot, is the point. So the plot is everyone's guilty. That's the whole story. Not basically historically. You could say, well, I wasn't there. That was like 2,000 years ago. I'm totally innocent. But theologically, you're supposed to be saying, well, we're all guilty, and that's the point, right? So that otherwise, how does the story make any sense if that's not the way you? So this isn't courtroom drama. It's a moral one. You don't get off on a technicality here. Saying some other guy's bad and I'm totally sinless doesn't fix Christianity. It unplugs the premise. That level of misreading is like taking a story built entirely on good and evil, like Star Wars, and handing it to Disney for a canon demolition, more brutal than the destruction of Alderaan, I mean, within minutes, the canon's gone. A million voices cry out and are suddenly silenced. Disney's like, the villains are just misunderstood. The heroes are actually the problem. And somehow you, a guy who's never trained, never sacrificed, never resisted temptation, are now morally flawless, totally innocent, right? That's called taking the plot, the point of the story, and flipping it on its head. So good is bad and bad is good. That's not you can do it from a story perspective, but you killed the meaning of the story, and the story is there to deliver meaning. So that's not fixing the plots. That's corporate fan fiction flogging the audience, for crying out loud. And here's how you can tell it's broken. Because, like, if you take the theology where really they kill Jesus instead of we all are responsible, then at the end of your life wouldn't be response, it'd be a PowerPoint defense. So in other words, if you take that theology and you imbibe it from a theological perspective, what would be the end point of that? Like, where would you end up? You would be like rolling up into Judgment Day, like, hey God, just want to be clear, I didn't do anything. Those people messed up. I'm clean. Open the gates. Honestly, you kind of owe me. Which is like horrifying, right? If that's the end of the theological thinking, the interpretation is theologically wrong. You could say, well, historically I wasn't there, but that's not the point. This is the story, So also, that's not a recommended strategy, because Christianity doesn't end with I'm innocent, punish someone else. It ends with, look, if the people closest to him screwed up, Peter denied him, Judas sold him, everyone scattered, what chance did I have? How much more so must I be guilty if the people closest to him actually betrayed him? Seems to me that's like the point that's what you're kind of supposed to get out of it, which would lead you to thinking at Judgment Day. That's the theology that works. Not I'm perfect, but I'm guilty. Please be merciful. That would be the only proper response. Like if you did the first response on judgment, that would be bad, right? That probably would anything else isn't faith. It's just fan fiction where you're the hero for no reason and everyone else is the problem. That again, the point of the narrative is destroyed. You handed the narrative, which has a moral plot to it, over to Disney, and suddenly everything's flipped on its head, right? That's what I always kind of felt like, but maybe anyway, I wrote a song about it. Let's see what the song says. I've never heard it yet. Let's see what we got.
We live in a strange, interesting time. Big voices talk loud, real confident lies. They dig up ideas buried long ago, disproven before plumbing even flowed. Like, yeah, but the Jews killed Jesus, they say. Like that's all, the faith case closed, walk away. I always assumed that take was so thin, no one believed it. But then again, I also thought nobody took it as fact when Disney rewrote Star Wars canon like that. Yet here we are, front row seats, confidence louder than consistency. So I'll try a little satire tonight. Just follow that logic into the light. If you track it through, you'll start to see the whole thing collapses catastrophically. People say it again, real proud, real loud, like they cracked Christianity, figured it out. I know who did it, and look at me, I'm totally innocent, finally free. Oh no, you didn't solve it, you missed the show. The plot is simple, front to back, everyone's guilty. That's the track, not history class, not a legal spin. This is moral truth, you don't loophole sin. You don't walk clean on a technicality. You face the weight of responsibility. You can't fix the faith by shifting blame, saying that guy's bad, I'm not the same. That doesn't heal, it doesn't restore, it pulls the plug on the premise core. That misreads like a cosmic crime, a good and evil story crossed the line. Handed to Disney, canon erased, Alderaan gone poof, out in space. A million voices cry then fade. Villains misunderstood, heroes misplayed. And somehow you, no scars, no cost, a flawless, pure temptation proof, untouched, unlost. No, that's not fixing the plot. That's corporate fan fiction, sold at a premium price tag with popcorn. And here's the test, the final scene. If that theology were really clean, the end of life wouldn't be repentant tears. It'd be a slideshow, charts and gears. You'd roll up confident, straight-faced plea. God, just to be clear, it wasn't me. They messed it up, I stayed pristine. Open the gates, you kinda owe me, which is horrifying, let's be clear. Also not and everyone's not.
All right. Let's see. Back to the thing here. And pull this down. And okay. I feel like it's still there. It's still. All right. All right. So let's analyze. I'm going to analyze the top string compared to the second to top string. I'm talking top of this guitar closest to the ceiling, not pitch-wise. So, collection of notes around the key of C. Position 1 would be from this pinky back to here. So that would be right here on the guitar. But I'm thinking of myself in that collection of notes, which a lot of people possibly know best, right? But from the position of A minor. But I'm going to mix it between Phrygian and the Mixolydian, which is kind of like a minor, like a bluesy thing to do because you're kind of smearing the third. And that, but this time I'm going to try to utilize that open string and analyze the relation of it to the one that's 2 strings down, and then see what I can do with that. So that this string's 2 strings down. So where's the third on that second string down? The third scale degrees are off by 1, so it's 2 modal half steps up. So we're 2 modal half steps up from nodal point number 3, the Phrygian. So it would be 3, 4, 5. I'm looking for nodal point numero cinco, number 5. So that's going to be right there. That's going to be the Mixolydian node. That's the Mixolydian node there. So that would be first modal whole step. 1 times 2 is 2 modal half steps plus 1 to get the third scale degree, which has a distance from a minor node of 3 notes away instead of 4 notes away, which we can count out by saying there's 5 notes between the strings. 10, 11, 12 octave. So I can go around the circle, around the block, back to 1. So that would be 1, 2, 3. 3 notes away here from a local distance. All right. So if I'm on, so I'm thinking, like, what if I muted, like if I played this and I muted the string above it? I don't normally do it, so it's going to be kind of ugly. So, and what if I brought it up? I'm going to smear it to, that's the minor third to the major third would be out here to do the bluesy thing. Right above it, I could play these two. Okay, so it's not as, I don't know exactly how I want to, like an alternate skip in the string. All right, let's try then if I look at the fifth, 5 minus 1 is 4. So I'm looking for 4 modal half steps up from nodal point number 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, nodal point number 7. So that would be out here, so on the third string down, and that would be the second modal whole step times 2, fourth modal half step plus 1, fifth scale degree, which has a distance from every node except for the Locrian of 7. 7. So I feel like I'm throwing gang signs up or something. 7, man. 7. All right. Okay. So it's going to be 5, 10, 11, 12, and then it starts over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 up from a local clockwise or around the clock distance. So that would be up here on 9. So that would be up here. So no, what is that right? That's right here. No, that's not right. And I have another root right here. So what if I try? Trying to mute that string in between with the tip of my finger. Kind of out of it today. Let's try the next one. Say we go 7 minus 1 would be 6 modal half steps up. So if I'm on nodal point number 3, I could start at 6 and then add 3 to it, right? So if I'm 6, 7, 1, 2. So 6, 7, 1, 2. So I'm looking for the Dorian node. So Dorian node is way up here, or it's in the open string. So that would be the minor 7. So that would be the third modal whole step. 3 times 2 is 6 modal half steps, plus 1 would be the 7th scale degree from a minor node is 10 notes away instead of 11 notes away. That would be a minor 7, so it would be 5, 10. So I could just play that open for the minor 7, but then I'm going to have that A in there. I can try to mute the A. So what if I can play this 5th right here? Oh, that one. That's why that works so well. So now I'm playing the 5th on this string. play up on this string, I can get that 7 in there. Okay, so that's fine. So if I want to get that string, this string down here, though, now how can I use that? I could try to say what's the string above it to play this closest string above it too, maybe. For what all I'm doing there is I'm saying, okay, well, if that, I'm just playing up this way, but I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing other than what's in the shape. So I'm just going, I could play, I know that's in the shape, I'm just playing this shape, but I'm just adding the note above it. So if I move this one up here, then I know that this and the shape is right there. Right, and but I'm just going to keep on ringing out that open note. But to do this, I'm not really thinking about what I'm playing. I'm just thinking, well, that fits in the shape up to here and up to here. So you could play that with like muting the top string, like putting your thumb on it. That's what I do. Whoops. Maybe I can mute it this way. Or I can play the open string out to emphasize the E on top. Wait a sec, did I do that right? Alright, so I'm not really thinking though too much when I do that. If I mute this string, All right. Let's see. If I did that same thing with this collection of notes, now I'm just shifting this position 1 back to the home position. So it's still an E, but now it's on the now it's an Aeolian E. And so now let's analyze the second string down from there. So now I'm saying, okay, I'm going to be in the minor, and but now it's a normal minor, which is the Aeolian minor instead of a Phrygian minor. So now I'm going to say, okay, what's the third from there? So 3 minus 1 is 2 modal half steps up, so 6, 7, 1. So I'm looking for the Ionian. So there's the Ionian, boom. And so it has, the Ionian has, is the first modal whole step. 1 times 2 is the second modal half step, plus 1 is the third scale degree, which has a distance of 3 notes away from a minor node like the Aeolian. So there's 5, 10, 11, 12. That brings us back to home. And then 1, 2, 3. So that's the one, again, we're smearing right there. It's just that now I'm thinking of it as the Aeolian node. And then where's the 5? Well, the 5th minus 1 would be 4 modal half steps up. So 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. Nodal point number 3 is going to be out here. So that means that the Phrygian nodal point is from the Aeolian nodal point. The Phrygian nodal point is the second modal half step. 2 times 2 is the second modal whole step. 2 times 2 is the fourth modal half step, plus 1 is the 5th scale degree, which has a distance of 7 notes away, which I can say, well, here's the octave. 6 to 6 is the octave, and then so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, local distance 7 to get there. Okay, what about the 7? 7 minus 1 is 6. So I could say, okay, 6, I got to go 6 modal half steps up from nodal point number 6, or I could just say I'm going to go 1 nodal point backwards, because if I'm going 6, if there's 7 steps around the block, and I go 6 clockwise, then 7 minus 6 is 1 counterclockwise. So the nodal point would be 6, 5. So I'm looking for the Mixolydian, and that means from the Aeolian node, the Mixolydian node number 5 is 3 modal whole steps. 3 times 2 is 6 modal half steps, plus 1 is the 7th scale degree from nodal point number 6, the Aeolian node, and it has a distance of a minor node of 10 notes away. So that would be 5, 10 notes away. All right, same thing. So once again, if I'm out here, the third is up here. So I'm going to try to just mute that string in the middle, or I can play it, because if I play that one in the middle, that's the 7. That's the 7th. That's the minor 7. So that's good to know. I don't know why I didn't see that before. what's different in this collection of notes? This collection of notes has a more normal major second, which is this one right here. Instead of one note away, it's got two notes away. So here, that would be this 7 right there is more normal than over here. The audio's low. Nika says the audio's low. That's weird. I'm not doing anything different. What if I pick the microphone up a little, but now the microphone's in front of the camera? I don't know. I will talk louder. Alright. Nika says there's a problem. Let me see. I will talk louder because I don't see anything different. Hold on a second. So I don't know. If there's nothing I can do except I will scream into the microphone. All right. So anyways, so what was I doing? So this was it's better now. Okay. That's good. I fixed it with my vocal because I'm got the singing voice. I've been working out not only my guitar skills but my vocal capacity, my range. Oh yeah, I was looking at what was different between here, because if it was over here, then you'd have the minor second, which would be this nodal point, and over here you have the major second. So okay, so that's actually more normal over here to have the major second. So where's the box in this shape? If I'm looking at this string down here, the box is like on 4 and underneath it, because this is position 3 right here. So right here is position 3. So the box in the middle of the guitar is right there underneath it. Over here is above it on nodal point 9, so now I'm on the back. Well, now I'm on the box is here. Let's go back to this one. let's see. What if I analyze the bottom string? Let's think about the bottom string. So that's an E here. And if I try to play that open with the one above it, I'm looking for the third above it. That would be 3. The third minus 1 would be 2 modal half steps up from the Phrygian node. So it would be Phrygian node is 3, 4, 5. So I'm looking for nodal point number 5, which would be a G in the collection of notes around the key of C. That's going to be that one right there on the 8th fret. Okay, and that's the one that would be smeared up this way because it's the third. So that means that the 5th, once again, is the first modal whole step times 2, second modal half step plus 1, third scale degree, which has a distance of 3 notes away from a minor node, but I'm going counterclockwise now. Therefore, the distance in the counterclockwise direction is 12 minus 3, which is 7. I mean, 9, right? So it'd be negative 5, and I can go back 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, meaning octave, and then I start over at 0, 1, negative 1, 2, wait, no, 12, 12, 11, 10, 9. All right, 9 notes away if I go around the block going in the negative direction, which would be 3 clockwise to get there. Okay, makes perfect sense. All right, so we're going to say this is going to be 8, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8. So right there. So now I'm going to try to do it with the bottom now. And then I smear it up to here. Now I don't do it down here as much, so I got to get better at that, and it's hard on the fingers, but I've got even I got calluses, and it's still kind of hard on my fingers down there. So with this kind of guitar, but anyways, so let's say we go to the 5 minus 1 is 4, modal half steps up plus nodal point number 3. So nodal point number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So nodal point number 7, which would be right above it, would be the 5th. So I can just play those 2 open. So that means, by the way, that would mean that that's the second modal whole step times 2, 4th modal half step plus 1, 5th scale degree, which has a distance of 7 notes away from any node except for the Locrian. But I'm going counterclockwise direction, therefore the distance counterclockwise is 12 minus 7, which is 5, and there's negative 5 notes between the strings as we go up there. So then if I'm up here, I can always let go then. If I'm doing the third bit. All right. So then, let's see. So then let's add the 7. So 7 minus 1 is 6. So it's 6 modal half steps up from nodal point number 3. I could start on 6 and then add 3 to it. So 3, 6, 7, 1, 2. That brings me around to the Dorian node. So the Dorian node is right here. I can also say, well, if it's 6 steps clockwise, and there's only 7 collections of notes. If I go counterclockwise around the block, it would be 7 minus 6, which is it'd be 7 minus 6, which is 1 modal half step counterclockwise, which would mean 3 minus 1 is 2 Dorian. So that means that the Dorian is 3 modal half steps. 3 times 2 is 6 modal whole steps, plus 1 is the 7th scale degree, which has a distance of 10 notes away from a minor node, which includes the Aeolian, the Phrygian, the Dorian, and the major node of the Mixolydian, but I'm going in the counterclockwise direction. Therefore, it's going to be counterclockwise distance of 12 minus 10, which is -2. So that would be 5 notes between the strings, 4, 3, 2, right there. Okay. 2, 3. So I'm going to try to let go without palming it. I often palm that accidentally, the way I hold the guitar when I let go, because I'm trying to prop the guitar right there. So I don't want to do that if I'm doing So let's say I analyze that same thing on this string. Let's go here, and we'll bring this one down. So now the Aeolian is here. Let's do the same. Oh, man. And we're going to say, all right, Aeolian. So if we're on the Aeolian, then I'm looking for the third. minus 1 is 2 modal whole steps up. 6, 7, 1. So I'm looking for the Ionian, which would be out here. So now the third is in the same spot, and it's going to be, now that means from nodal point number 6, Aeolian, nodal point number 1, Ionian, is the first modal whole step times 2, second modal half step plus 1, third scale degree, which has a distance of, from a minor node, 3 notes away. The minor nodes include node number 6, Aeolian, node number 2, Dorian, node number 3, Phrygian, and node number 7, the Locrian, but that's a Locrian node. So that'd be 5 between the strings, but again, we kind of start over right here, so there's the octave, so I can kind of count from there. By the way, that's negative distance, so now it's going to be 12 minus 3. So then this would be negative 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and then to 12, right, or 12, 11, 10, 10, 9. So that's 9, negative counterclockwise 9, which would be clockwise 3 on the local distance, and I can smear that up. So same spot, and then if I say, okay, what about the 5? 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 modal half steps up from nodal point number 6. I could start, so from 6, so 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. That means nodal point number 3 is what we're looking for, and we have one right above it. So that's going to be nodal point number 3 is now the 5th, if I think about that as the Aeolian. So that means that from the Aeolian node, node number 6, the node number 3, which is the Phrygian, is 2 modal whole steps up. 2 times 2 is 4 modal half steps, plus 1 is the 5th scale degree, which has a distance from all nodes except for the Locrian node of 7 notes away. But I'm going counterclockwise, therefore counterclockwise distance 12 minus 7 is 5, 5 notes between the strings. So that makes sense. Let's say we have 7, look, we're looking for the 7th, minus 1 would be 6 steps away from the Aeolian node. But again, if I'm going 6 steps clockwise, and there's only 7 steps around the block, 7 minus 6 would be 1 counterclockwise step, which would be 6 minus 1 would be 5. So that means the Locrian node would be 5. So that means nodal point number 5 from nodal point 6, Aeolian, is the 3rd modal whole step. 3 times 2 is the 6th modal half step, plus 1 is the 7th scale degree, which has a distance of 7 notes away, which is the distance for all minor nodes, Aeolian, Phrygian, Dorian, and for the major node of the Mixolydian. So that can, but I'm going counterclockwise, so it has a distance of 12 minus 10, which is negative 2. And I could say, well, there's 5 notes between the string, 4, 3, 2. Boom. Now, what's the difference between this one and thinking about it the way we just looked at it? Well, it still has the 3rd smeared. That's fine. The difference between the Aeolian and the Phrygian is the 2nd. The normal 2nd or Aeolian 2nd is 2 notes away, and therefore this note is different than the notes that we just looked at before. It also has a different note than if we think about the major for the 6th, which is an 8 note away minor distance versus, okay, but we'll look at that on the next thing. Okay, so if I was to emphasize that, we've got then, where's, it repeats obviously, the 6 is right on the 5th. So there's where it repeats, E. But now, in this collection of notes, it has a major 2nd. All right, I'm just gonna noodle around for a while, and then.
Thank